Good evening and welcome to the Kids Okay Please live. We're live again today with a very interesting guest and a very interesting topic. Just a little introduction to the Kids Okay Please live for everyone who's going to be joining in for the first time. Kids Okay Please live, firstly, what is Kids Okay Please? Kids Okay Please is an evolving privileged ecosystem that brings childhood-worthy experiences, deals and values on human fingertips through the intuitive use of technology. Okay, so we're just waiting for our guest to go live. Today's conversation is going to be very interesting. Just a little introduction to the Kids Okay Please Live. Kids Okay Please Live is a medium established to uncover the intel and insights about the ecosystem that parents, children and professionals occupy in our lives. We have our guest. Today's session is going to be on a landscape mode. For everybody who's watching, they can tilt their phone a little. It's going to be a very interesting conversation.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello, sir. I'm not able to see you for some reason.
You can't see me for some reason?
Yes, I cannot see you. Let me just...
Should I join in again?
If we can, sir, I'm just checking what the issue is. Okay, we're just waiting for our guest to join in. Meanwhile, everyone who's tuned in, make sure you all go check out the Kids Okay Please memberships that are live and that are going extremely amazing for all those wonderful parents looking to keep their child busy. Go check out the number of events we have, our calendars put up. Don't miss out on the free memberships for this month. And then we'll get on to a lot of more exciting stuff in the coming months. Okay, I think we're having a little connection issue. Just give me a second. Okay, we are connecting. Yes, sir. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you so much. Can you see me very clearly and hear me as well?
And I can hear you clearly. Is it the same for you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Is
Okay,
my visual okay? The lights and everything?
Yes, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Great, let's roll. I mean, a wonderful digital world, a virtual world, getting more popular. In fact, I mean, all of us were speculating about the fact that probably by 2025, the entire world would move towards being more virtual and more digital. Yes, it has come early. Every crisis is an opportunity, so here we are. So looking forward to the session, and thank you very much to Kids Okay Please for inviting me to be a part of the program.
Thank you so much for being there. I'll give you a little introduction and adding on to what you had mentioned about the virtual world. It's completely the future. It is what is going to roll out in the coming few years, way more than it is right now.
Absolutely. I'm sure, I mean, once things open up, the kids and the parents, the students, all of us would obviously rush out for some time. But then we would see, you know, earlier before March, the virtual world was active. Social media was very active. But by and large, many of us all across were using the physical world to, you know, do our work and to connect with people. But now I think all of us in the past 6 months, हमारी आदत बन चुकी है अब, तो अब मेरे ख्याल से 50-50 वाला situation होगा.
Absolutely.
So what are we looking forward to in this session?
Yes, sir. So let me start with giving you a little introduction for the people who have joined in and who don't know who our guest is or who aren't aware. Mr. Pallab Bose, sir. Okay, so Mr. Pallab Bose is the founder and CEO of an international campus to corporate academy. He's also a motivational speaker, a soft skill trainer, a career coach, a show host, a webinar moderator, a show director with over 25 plus years of experience in the corporate brand management, and he's also a career development coach. Sir, it is great to have you, and I am looking forward to this session a lot because I have a lot of questions lined up for you.
Absolutely. In fact, I have about 25 plus years of experience and I'm just 30 years old. So I'm very young. All right, great. Looking forward to the questions. I hope whatever inputs I can give, any questions coming in from the parents and kids who are live, most welcome. Whatever contact I have had in the past with the schools all across. I live in Delhi at the moment. I'm in Delhi, but I've been traveling all across the country, especially internationally. Surprisingly, I have touched a few schools in my career. Not as much, but all across India, yes, and Delhi, of course. So let me share whatever I can, and I hope मेरे जो जवाब होंगे आपके सवालों का, I hope it's going to benefit and give some kind of a direction. Just a small disclaimer: please don't consider whatever I talk about as a kind of a pravachan. I'm no spiritual leader. It's not going to be any advice, any suggestions, anything. It is just I would share my experiences, and I'm sure some tips, parents who are parents of kids would definitely be junior to me by age because my kids have all grown up. And I'm sure, I hope they will benefit something out of this session.
Absolutely. So this is for all the parents actually who are viewing. We request you to put down your questions as and when the conversation goes, so we can pick it at the correct moment, at the end, at the middle, whatever it is. So starting with our first question, what is, so you are also a communication skill expert, and what according to you are the communication, how important is communication skills in the life of children?
See, I'll tell you, all these years, ever since we were in school earlier and the 90s and 2000s, communication skills एक सदाबहार है. Basically, it is a सदाबहार, जिसे कहते हैं evergreen skill, that people who can talk are people who get noticed, get highlighted. And all these years, by and large, I have seen that the art of talking, I mean, if it begins early, we have been talking about English in a country like India, which is very imperialistic. English communications, but move along.
So I think we're having a connection issues. So can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Yeah, digital world, this will happen. Is it okay?
It's
I repeat one more time. I repeat again. What I was saying was all these years, communication skills was by and large focused on how to talk in English better.
Right.
But I can assure you that in the past few years, what I have seen, Hindi as well as any regional language, any foreign language, by and large, language apart, the art of talking, primarily involving two things. One, telling people very clearly, communicating very clearly what exactly you want them to know. And secondly, a very important skill which I have seen, I mean, the kids in school, of course, it begins. But when you grow up and move into your selection processes in school, in colleges and beyond, the art of convincing the decision makers becomes a very, very big skill. And to be very honest with you, the past few months, whoever, decision makers I have been speaking to, all principals, educationists, everybody is saying that when you talk about the virtual world, it is basically how you talk. That's going to be the major skill. So I would definitely very strongly recommend that every child, because it begins early, every skill development begins early. So every child should be encouraged to talk. There should not be any comparisons because we have this comparison. I mean, by and large, I have been meeting lakhs of students when they are, when they have passed out school. And I have realized the fact that many of them do not open their mouth because in school, whenever they have tried to speak in English or anything, they have been, sniggered at, they have been laughed
Right.
at, and
Right.
they have absolutely withdrawn themselves into their shell. And that
True.
has led to severe lack of confidence.
Right.
So let us, as parents, as teachers, and all of us, through Kids OK Please, communicate this message that besides other things that we do, the art of talking, I mean, basically needs to be encouraged. And everyone, I mean, some will speak very well, some will not be as effective. But
Right.
ultimately, I see it as the basic mode of improving confidence and improving personality.
True. In fact, I would like to add something to that. Kids are so curious these days. They want to know everything. They want to know the why to everything. And whenever they come up, they have hundred of questions. And sometimes being adults, being adults, we just put them off. We just be like, no, not right now. Or whatever reason it might be. It's very common for parents who are actually in between work. They are busy or there's something like that, okay, and they put them off, but we don't know the kind of impact we must be creating on the child by not letting the child talk. So that was actually one point I wanted to add in.
Absolutely. No points in that. Absolutely. One has to be very, very careful, actually.
Right.
In terms of when we are talking about communication skills, as we are beginning with that, and that has been my forte. I'll tell you how it all happened with us. I mean, I have earned a living through communication skills.
Okay.
And to be very honest with you, post-March, as we went online, I mean, we realized that technologically, people like us are who are senior. I mean, we haven't had technology education when we were in school. We learned it on the job. I mean, people like you who are much younger are more adept to technology. We learned it on the job, but we realized that, everything is talking. I mean, ultimately, you have to come on camera and you have to talk. Whether it is kids communicating with teachers, kids communicating amongst their peer group all across the world. And when you grow up, I mean, ultimately, every child prepares their education for a career. I mean, whether it's career as a professional, whether it's career as an entrepreneur, whether it's career as a business person. And you won't get an entry, I mean, in the virtual world and in the real physical world if you do not talk, because ultimate decision making will happen once you open your mouth. I mean, this is a very, very red alert, message that I want to send across to all parents and all kids. Please start talking. And let me tell you, I mean, communication skills, if you have begun this session with that, it doesn't, improve and develop overnight. It takes a very, very long time. So one has to be very sensitive. One has to empathize on people who are not great communicators and gradually see that they improve. And I have seen that happening. Not only with, students, with school students who have attended sessions with me, I've been their coach, but otherwise also I have seen that over a period of time, if you encourage anybody that could, overrule caste, creed, religion, economic status, there could be people from villages, from small towns, and if you teach them the art of talking, magically you will see a huge development in their confidence and personality in 6 months to 1 year time. So let us move towards a better talking India. That's my dream.
This is an amazing point, and I hope everyone who's watching this session has taken this point down because it is equally as important. In fact, I had a few questions related to this. One, stating that now during this time, this pandemic, kids haven't socialized, younger kids haven't moved out, they haven't spoken much, been around people. So do you think this will affect their personality development for not having the communication they should be having? How do you think this is going to affect the younger generations right now?
See, I'll tell you very honestly, I hope I am very audible and you can see my video very clearly. Great. I mean, these are, new age world of virtual media. We are going through the internet, so I need to clarify. See, this is a very, very interesting question. I mean, we have all learned. I mean, I was a kid once. I was a teenager once. I was a young person once. Now I'm a senior. I have been a parent. I am a parent now. My kids have grown up. the basic, family structure that you have. I'm not just talking about metro. Even in metro, they're very, very traditional families. The family structure that you have and the school that you go to. Thanks to our Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi, the Delhi schools, the government schools, which caters to the, working class, have become role models. And you know that the Melinda Gates Foundation, Bill Gates, all over the world, people have come to study as to how government schools in India for the first time have given so much of importance to soft skills other than, hard skills.
Right.
Why I'm saying this is a basis. Basically what happens is, I remember that song in which we all grew up, not your world, because you are much younger than me. When we were in school and college, there was a song which was very popular by Pink Floyd, which is very popular now, "A Brick in the Wall." And, leave the kids alone. You are just a brick in the wall. What happens is that in our houses, the father, the mother, the elders in the family do not let the youngsters talk. The elder brother, especially the elder brother, doesn't allow the youngers to talk. Similarly, you go to school, you'll find the bullies who are opening their mouth. You'll find the teachers who are, more I
think we have a connection problem again. Sir, can you hear me? Yes, it's back.
All right, good. I'll repeat that. So basically, talking has been a privilege of a few, starting from the home and then on to school. So gradually, you'll find a few percentage of people who speak well and the others who don't. I'm not talking about public speaking. I'm not talking about, speaking in the media as commercial orators that some of us grew. What happened with me? I went to a school, for example, in Calcutta, where early stages, our father in school identified me that, Pallab, you are born to talk. So I was trained in talking. My mother obviously promoted me. My father was in the administrative service, but he wasn't very keen speaker himself. But my mother, who's still alive and kicking, she basically handheld me. Over the years, things changed. And in the past, if I look at it 5 to 10 years, things have changed. Kids have come and told me that now gradually they have a voice at home, they have a voice in school. I can understand what that means. Having a voice at home and having a voice in school. This, needs to be kept during pandemic times. To be very honest with you, I feel very sad for the kids. I feel very sad for youngsters. I feel very, strange for all of us all over the world that we are stuck up. But especially, kids, when I see in the block, many of them, there used to be hundreds and hundreds of kids every evening was to make a huge noise in the park. And the park is empty. There is absolutely a noiseless situation. Some kids come out and they're again dragged in. So during these pandemic times, all I can say is that I'm sure parents know what to do with their kids. Every house has a culture. But I personally feel expose the kids to first listening. Let them listen to great speakers, whether it's Netflix, whether it's online. The kids are all very adept to, the digital world. So what, time they spend, other than their studies that they're doing online, with kids.
I think we have a connection issue again. It's back again.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that try and help the kids invest on things that are going to help them in their future. And one thing for sure is the communication skills process, which is number one, listening to great speakers as much as possible. Language is overruled. Like I listen to Mr. Amitabh Bachchan every day, even now. I have been listening to him ever since I was 5 years old. You'll be surprised to hear that. And of course, the fact remains that he has survived that long, being in the forefront. Similarly, all of you should have your ideal speakers. There is enough on YouTube to listen to. That's number one. Once you listen, you'll be able to develop confidence to absorb and the content. And once you have the content, ideally every child should be encouraged to have the voice and vent out. See that their focus is not on controversial issues that they talk about, not on the frustrated, not on the negative issues that are being talked about, but focus on more developmental, more hobby related, what they are passionate about. Let them talk more about it. And I mean, why not? I mean, they should be encouraged to visualize their dreams and talk more about it. So during the pandemic, it is a very, very tough time. But I would personally feel, I would request kids, okay, please, to encourage kids to talk more and more and more. And trust me, it is going to do wonders.
In fact, now that we spoke about language and kids and how we as Kids Okay Please can help. So everyone who's viewing, in fact, there are a lot of languages, new languages. You can sit at home and learn, master yourself in those languages, learn different cultures. Coding, which is actually the future of languages, is also up there. So this is just a little sidetrack, but yes, go check it out because it is only going to help. And the points you mentioned, sir, which was basically, listen to speakers. I never thought of that actually. That, you can actually sit and listen to speakers and adapt what they are saying. And it's only going to improve you to the better. So I guess this...
See, I'll be very honest with you. What I have seen, because of the digital world being more important today, it started increasing towards 2005, became more prevalent by 2010. And for the past 4 or 5 years, everybody is in the digital world. Now, in the digital world, what exactly are you doing? People like you and me in the digital world are talking.
Right.
I mean, I have been talking from morning to evening doing my webinars. Similarly, you are doing that. But most of the kids, whether it's coding, whether it's any other kind of technology, are throughout the day sitting, looking, gazing at the screen and not opening their mouth.
True.
This is going to be dangerous, for sure.
Right.
This is going to be dangerous.
Right. So I guess the best tips are let kids talk, in fact, have conversations at home with them. I think that's the best starter, like you mentioned. Perfect. So I think let's continue a little with speech because I have a few more questions related to speech. One is that, sir, there are a lot of speech abnormalities or speech problems that people face. For example, stuttering. So does stuttering affect a child's personality, development, the self-esteem, or how can one improve on this aspect?
See, one is when we are talking about communication skills. Can you hear me very clearly?
Yeah, I can.
All right. See, one, when we are talking about communication skills, we are talking about normal situations. Normal kids, people, a few percentage having the privilege of talking, they have a voice. They are encouraged into doing that. They see, kids I have seen, I mean, all of us adults do that, but kids do that. I mean, this is amazing. This is, the laws of the universe, that people see and learn more than what they hear, including communication skills. I mean, it is a very, very ironic statement I'm giving. Even in communication skills, people don't hear and learn as much as they see and learn. That means that if they see online or they see live, people who are speaking very well have seen kids picking that up very, very quickly. So I'm sure Kids Okay Please will focus on this. About the normal kids that I talked about, everybody should be encouraged to talk. Now comes to speech disparity. You were talking about stuttering. See, to be very honest with you, over the years, things have improved. People have become more, adaptable, more empathetic. Things were pathetic during our father's time. Even when I went to school, I mean, that was in the 70s and the 80s. When I went to school, 90s was college for me. That was a long time ago. Things were pathetic. I mean, people who stuttered really were sidetracked. They were laughed at. They were absolutely put aside. I mean, thank God we didn't go through all that, because, I mean, we were, good speakers in school. I mean, we were on-stage speakers. But I remember some of the kids, some of my colleagues who had huge, confidence issues. They had social disparity. Probably they were sniggered at home as well. And any child who was more upfront and talks better was given more, was given more attention and more preference, even in school. I would like to believe.
Okay, I think we have a connection issue again. Sir, are you there? Okay, I think we lost Sir. We are having a connection issue. Let's add Sir again. Okay, I'm gonna put my screen up vertical for a minute and have Sir join in again. Yes. Okay, we're just waiting for our guest to join in. Rejoin in, actually. Yes, sir. Sorry, we got you.
Okay, it happens. It's a part of the whole world. It's like when you're doing a live session, somebody has come in with their tea, coffee, and snacks. It used to happen in my webinars. I miss those days. But anyway, it's typically that situation where I used to get irritated when I'm giving a huge lecture and we are at the peak of a discussion. There is this gentleman, the help who has come in with, all the stuff and the coffee, which I would love to have, but I can't have because I'm talking. Anyway, what I was talking was, see, in terms of a speech disparity, normal kids, we have already talked about, that they need to be in. And I can assure you, parents, you will see magic happening. All development in terms of confidence, in terms of personality, in terms of outlook that affects performance in careers, careers, academics, and extracurricular activities revolves around the art of talking. I have seen kids who might be from very humble backgrounds, who have not been very academically good. Two things. One, they have to be taught the art of visualizing their future. They should know what they want in the future. Number two, they should be able to talk. These are the two things, trust me, will do a great deed in breaking the box and getting the kid out of the box and enabling them to realizing their potential. Now coming to the speech disparity, I have seen people who are stuttering. Yes, definitely there is no doubt things are better now, but better now doesn't mean the problem has been solved. So I would like to believe that anyone who has a speech disparity needs help, should be given help immediately. From the school side or by the parents. Please invest on that, because you don't realize the fact that a mind and a personality which is quiet is definitely half the battle won in terms of career development and anything that you want to do for your kids. Trust me. I mean, you have to open up, whether it's right or wrong, give vent to your views and talk. And there is no doubt about the fact that pre-COVID, communication skills was always there. Post-COVID, because of the virtual world, I don't see, grooming, finishing, everything had a lot of importance. It will have importance in the future in the physical world. But in the virtual world, imagine at the moment what you are able to see. You're able to see the bust area, and I'm able to see the same from yours. And we are judging each other from the way we are talking. That's what happens. So it's going to happen in the future. I mean, when kids grow up, I mean, in the virtual world, even in the physical world, people will focus more and more on talking, because talking will help you to connect with important people. And anybody who can talk, along with other skills, extracurricular activities, as well as academics, will be the ones who will emerge as leaders. So leadership qualities begin at an early stage. If, you know, kids in the age group of 3, 4, 5, 6 years age group, believe me, they should be given help with coaches. I hope they take help from Kids OK Please. Besides the wonderful extracurricular activities and other activities that you are doing, I would humbly request, please focus on the art of talking. In any language, whatever they want to talk, let them talk and talk and talk, and you'll see the magic happening. And for people who need help, they should be given help immediately. And there should be, one should focus on the fact that any kind of stuttering should be helped, because there is no other way, because stuttering and any kind of speech disparity definitely, you know, leads to a huge inferiority complex in children. There is no doubt about that.
Right. Absolutely. So moving on to our next question, sir. How can kids be taught soft skills? And what age should they be brought into teaching the soft skills?
See, the kind of British education we have had, I mean, please don't mind parents. I am not adapt to the Indian system of education. We all come from amen kind of schools. I mean, yeah, our fathers did that. I did that. My kids did that. I went to a boys' school in Calcutta, and many of us come from girls' schools, the convents. And even now, except for example, Delhi, where the Honorable Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister has done wonders. The world is looking at Delhi schools. I'm talking about the Kendriya Vidyalayas. I'm talking about the KVs, which caters to the mass audience. They are government schools, which has done outstandingly well in terms of soft skills. The world's best schools and universities, including Melinda Gates Foundation, I beg your pardon, Bill Gates Foundation, has come and studied them as to what they have done. How is it possible to do that in India? So far as soft skills are concerned, primarily soft skills, I mean, should start, if you ask me, any good family which is globally exposed. It necessarily does not at all linked to economics. Let me tell you that. Families could be progressive, even they are middle class, even they are lower middle class. I have seen families which are the working class, and believe me, the domestic help that came, the lady is so progressive and their kids were so advanced, studying in government schools, and many of them went on to become very successful people. Soft skills should start early. It is a combination of getting help from parents and the peer group. Be very alert to the kind of peer group, the friend circle that the kid is with. Because even if you teach them and the rest of the influences are bad, then it's going to wash off. It's not going to work. And of course, schools, there is no doubt, play a very, very important factor. And over and above, because of the digital world, Kids OK Please is there. Kids OK Please wasn't there when I was a kid. Soft skills, by and large, I think maybe by 5 or 6 years age group, it should start. And it should start and be very regular and be a part of the curriculum. I mean, academics, curricular activities, and soft skills should be a 360, 360-degree development, as we call it, 360-degree development of any individual. And soft skills for kids, primarily the Personality Plus program that we have done in the past, is much lesser than what we do for, senior professional students or young professionals. But I have done, innumerable number of Personality Plus programs. And I've seen it as a combination of 3 things primarily. One, the perception, the mind, the perception, especially the perception. I mean, there are 2 ways you perceive it. As they say, half glass full, half glass empty. Yeah. I'm sure all of us know about that example. That is very important. That everything that happens around you, are you able to perceive positively or negatively? It happened the other day when I went to a relative's place, and there is a little child who's hardly about 7, 8 years old. And he's a child who has learned this art of mimicry from his dad. And, he comes from a, Delhi NCR area, probably doesn't go to that kind of a global progressive school where soft skills are focused upon. And see what dangerous thing is happening with this child, that the child has developed, because he is a good talker, he has been encouraged to talk, he comments, negative things about people, including seniors around him.
Okay.
So imagine what this child is going to be when he becomes 18, 20 years old or 25 years old. So I spoke to his parents. They were younger than me. And my wife is a fashion designer. She's a professional. We take our lives very, very seriously in terms of development. And she spoke to them. And I hope some help is given. So many kids suffer from this. It is no fault of theirs.
Right.
So I would like to believe good coaches, carry kids, okay, please. Such platforms are very, very serious. And the combination is, number one, the perception, the mind. It is very difficult to hit it, but hit it so that it becomes positive. Then in terms of skills development, I would personally feel the art of talking. That is very, very important. Once you become a decent speaker, language overruled. English, surely, you need it as an Indian to connect to the world. You connect to all across the country. You need Hindi to connect all across the country, but even in regional languages. I mean, I know so many successful people who are talkers, who are speakers in regional language, and they have millions of followers on YouTube and on the social media and on the digital media, and they're extremely rich, famous, successful. But the art of talking, I would like to believe, is very, very important. Besides that, of course, basic grooming, basic finishing, basic, soft skills needs to be doled out to them. But I would like to believe a combination of perception, positive thinking, the art of talking, because the art of talking would definitely, require a lot of time to develop it in anybody, and goal setting. I mean, I would like to believe that if a 6-year-old kid, male, female, or the third gender, whatever gender that kid belongs to, says something about their future, take that very seriously. I mean, successful people, there is one thing common, is that at a very early age, they knew what they had to do in life. So in soft skills, if you can give that vision and the ability to visualize everything that is about to happen that does not exist at this point of time, I think is going to be the weapon in the 21st century to crack it big in the future.
Perfect. So everyone who's watching, and it is very important that you let your kids talk, let them come up with their perspective, and in fact help them come up with the perspective in case, like Sir mentioned, peers is very, very important. The influence you have around you is what is going to shape you as a good human being in the future. Very clearly, because I myself, so you spoke about extracurricular activities and being out there and talking and associating, and I have been a part of it, and I know how different it is from the world that's out there. And when you want to blend in, you have to do that. So yeah, for all the parents who are watching this session, it is very important for you to let your child talk, let your child come up with ideas.
Do we have parents? I'm sorry to interrupt. Do we have parents and kids watching this program live?
We do have parents watching it live, and even if they're not watching it live for everyone,
they would obviously see it as a self-paced later. Absolutely, absolutely. I wish. I mean, I'm waiting for your next question, but it has been our dream. I'll tell you very honestly. Today I'm being emotional because by and large, our webinars are commercial. This is not, as kids. If I go back, all of us we remember our favorite teacher in school. We remember our favorite teacher in college, especially favorite teacher in school. You ask anyone, whether somebody is 20 years old, somebody is 80 years old, somebody is 90 years old. The moment you ask this question, remember the favorite teachers in school, everybody will come up with the answer right away. Why do we remember the favorite teachers in school? Because they not just taught us the subjects, everybody taught us the subjects. The favorite teachers in school, believe me, directly or indirectly, taught us what we today in the modern world know as soft skills.
I would agree to that completely, in fact.
Heart out. They made us, the line is good. They allowed us to talk our heart out. They made us believe that whatever we want to become, will become success, will happen one day, will become a reality one day. And they made us, confident. They made us believe that we are great people. That's why they are our favorite teachers in school. They encouraged us every day. So if any one of us, I as a parent, I don't know, I mean, whether I'm a success or a failure. I think I'm a failure if I remember my favorite teachers in school, but I'm trying to, be a better parent by trying to be like our favorite teacher in school. That's it. This is what I have to tell all parents. Remember the favorite teacher in school and remember what they have done for you. And if you can do this for your kids, and Kids OK Please is always there to help you out, and there will be other experts who will be able to talk to you. I'm sure as we move along, Kids OK Please will be a much more active platform. I'm sure you will have a big world to come. But just one thing, do not push your dreams onto your kids. Every person who's born is different. They might be your kids. Please love them. Please take care of them. Please sit with them as hens sit on eggs. But do not, your dreams have been your dreams. Let the kids have their own dreams and go after it. And please remember the Chinese way. I'll add to it, then I'll come to the next question if you have any. The Chinese way of analyzing personality. In the management world, we use the SWOT analysis, SWOT, to analyze personality before we start giving career guidance. But in the Chinese ancient way of analyzing personality is through the 5 elements, that each personality represents either the air, the earth, the water, the sky, the universe, or the fire. And please, the biggest mistake that we do is try to compare one child with another. Means try to compare the fire with water, and we want a child who's like water to become fire. And that is where we kill the child. We kill the child when the child is just 10 years old. How many Virat Kohlis, how many Shah Rukh Khans, trust me, have been killed in terms of talent when they were kids. It is a very, very strange country. We admire cricketers, we admire movie stars, but we do not allow our kids to play cricket and take it up as a career, to play sports and take it up as a career. We do not encourage, our youngsters, if we find talent, to play the guitar, yet we love Santana, we love Pink Floyd. It is a very, very strange situation. I wish we become like the more developed nations. We are a great country, but just our perception as parents, we have to open up and believe that if the child can do something best, and that something best can become a career option for the child, believe me, that is the secret of success. Many of us got the opportunity to do that. I'm sure you are doing a fantastic job with Kids OK Please. You've got an opportunity to do what you love doing. I wish all across the country, this word should spread as a hashtag, I love to do this movement or something of that sort. Career choice movement, you should start as a hashtag, not hashtag me too, but a positive hashtag, and start this movement where every child should be given the, taught the ability to dream and decide their future and go after it. And that is the best soft skills that anybody can empower a child with for their future.
This entire conversation, sir, this particular question and everything that you said is so important that we admire the people we look at, but at the same time, if somebody, our sisters, our siblings, our children, whatever, they come up and they just be like, I'm good at this, I want to do this. There's so many restrictions. In fact, people don't look at it in the way that they look at other people doing it. So it's a very, very important aspect. And in fact, recently with the new education system that's coming up, I think this is going to be pretty simple and it's going to help in progress what you just mentioned. And I'm looking forward to it eagerly. But this is a very important point. Parents who are listening, please understand that you need to give your child the freedom to choose what they love and to do what they love above anything.
Absolutely. Any questions that you have for me that I would address, or could you just sum it up?
I guess I have one last question, and then we'll just go through the chat box if there are any, and then we can sum it up. So, my last question to you, sir, is at what age do you think children should be getting the proper career guidance or the proper guidance to their future?
Well, in China, we are all against China, but one of the most progressive countries of the world that I have been to is China. They're way ahead. Career guidance, the state decides. The state has the best teachers in school who tell the parents that this is what the child will become. Same thing happens in Japan, same thing happens in Korea. That starts when the child is 3-4 years old. So they really start early. Oh yes, China is way ahead. In European countries, whatever little I have seen of Europe, I'm a big fan of Europe, but whatever little I have seen, or Americas, for example, by the time the child moves to middle school, I mean, that's where, career development starts. In India, it is a very, very haphazard situation, depending upon, some very hyper parents who would like to start very early, and they have so much of peer pressure that the child is absolutely choked by the time the child comes to the boards. Well, I can understand the competition. I can understand the importance of marks. No doubt about that. But everybody is not academically inclined. We must understand that. So I have seen very progressive families in India deciding career guidance, career development, taking it very seriously once the child comes to the 7th, 8th standard. Otherwise, they say, okay, you finish 10th. When you come into +2, then you start off. And some even after +2, they have gone through various, so much of feedbacks coming from relatives, coming from friends, coming from teachers, coming from parents, and they themselves, their perception in the digital media that they are at crossroads. I would like to sincerely believe that Kids OK Please and other platforms, through experts, through a regular medium of instruction, take the career guidance very, very seriously because, honestly speaking, why has India not reached potential in terms of performance? I think India can be 10 times better. We are very talented people. I don't know why. By God's grace, we have always been very talented people. But somehow, as I told you, at an early stage, the natural skills that has been gifted by God. Now, if still people don't believe in God during COVID times, I have nothing to say. Because at this point of time, when I look at the trees, when I look at the animals, no other species in India, in India and the world is affected by COVID-19 except one species, and that's you and me, that we belong to, which is the human species. And the trees outside, I will just open the window and they are so happy and they're laughing at me. Okay, Pallab, you have been moving around for 20 days a month for all your careers. Now you sit at home and let us enjoy the breeze and the less pollution in the metro cities. We have to believe in God, and we have to believe that there is an energy beyond us which gives us a lot of things. And if we identify that energy that every child has, that this child loves to play the guitar, this child looks to be great in mathematics, this child, like me, have been naturally inclined by my genes towards history, towards English, and towards talking. So I sleep, eat, and drink history, English, talking. The point is that we are trying to build careers based on which career is. Parents come to me and ask me, sir, bataiye kaun sa career iske liye acha rahega. I reply saying that sabhi career बढ़िया है. कोई क्रिकेट खेल के इतना नाम कमा सकता है, कोई एक्टिंग करके इतना नाम कमा सकता है, तो आपका बच्चा कुछ भी करके कमा सकता है नाम और शौर्य जो आप चाहते हैं. मगर पॉइंट ये है कि आप अपने बच्चे को वो करने दे जो नेचुरली उसको एक गिफ्ट मिला हुआ है, एंड समथिंग दैट ही वुड लव डूइंग एंड ही इज नेचुरली गिफ्टेड टू डू दैट. And let that thing become a part of the profession. Don't push him into professions. You won't believe it. I have seen final year engineering students coming up to me and saying, sir, I would have loved to be a fashion designer. I would have loved to be a soft skills trainer. I would have loved to be medical students coming and saying, and this is what happens from IITs. They are brilliant people. They have great minds. But they get into technology out of pressure and then they move away from technology. And what a waste it is for the nation. So I would like to believe the middle school, that is somewhere in between 6th and 8th standard. Before that, of course, I mean, gradually you know, the good schools are doing that. Progressive parents are doing that. Don't push, don't force, because then it's not going to work. But by the time when the child is very small, I mean, I'm sure you deal with a lot of children, 3, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, let it be a very natural, you know, habit development. I call skill development as habit development. And once that habit development in the form of soft skills moves into 6th, 8th standard, that means the child is about 10, 12 years old.
Right.
That is the time when I think soft skills and careers need to be taken very seriously. Otherwise, later it becomes very late. You know, there are already, you know, kids who have started on their careers by the time they were 10, 12 years old. So
Right.
by the time they are 18, they're all masters of the game and the others are unable to compete. And that's what has happened with kids around me that I have seen in the past 10, 15 years. So 10, 12 years age group, the age group that you cater to, your senior kids should be seriously given career development classes and counseling. No doubt about that.
Right. Perfect. So I had a lovely session, sir, and there are no more questions from my side. But we have one question from the audience saying selective listening. And how can we develop this habit of selective listening?
How could you develop the habit of selective listening?
Right.
Okay, great. To be very honest with you, ab tak, I don't know about my parents. What happened? How? You know, my parents, I remember I used to follow my father. He left me very early when I was in college, but he was a brilliant man. He was a man of the Indian Administrative Service and he was a gold medalist of his times. Their age was newspaper, radio, and I'm talking about the 50s, 60s. I was not born then. Maybe the 70s when I was a kid, little kid. And, you know, they learned it from Guru Shishya Wali Baat Hai.
Right.
Whatever they listened, they learned.
True.
For us, I was not a very big radio fan. Times have changed, but you know, I was again not a very big television person. When I'm talking about the 90s, I was also a people's person. People talking, I listening. And thanks to the fact that, you know, the kind of school and college that I went to, we had great professors. Then came the digital world. Now, digital world, you are exposed to everything. I personally feel it is very difficult to teach a child selective listening. The only way you can teach somebody selective listening is by being an idol yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm very sure, I have seen, you give me 4 kids and I spend 3 hours a day with them. After 3 months, all the 4 kids will behave exactly like the way I am doing.
Okay. Right.
Now, why? Because I'm their influence. I'm the influencer. Whether I'm right or wrong, that is a relative term. So, in the family, the elders in the family, I'm talking about the elder siblings,
right,
and the parents,
right,
what they listen to as a group, even on the kids know what you're listening to. I mean, I see in the flight, in the Shatabdi, if the mother is listening to loud, trash music, the kid is also listening to loud trash music. If the mother is laughing at comedy, I mean, I'm sorry to say no names, but trash comedy, then the kid is also listening to trash comedy. If the mother is laughing at trash comedy, the kids are listening to all those cartoons that are non-intellectual trash. So I would like to believe that how to develop the habit, somebody who has asked this question, and for all parents who would listen to us and hear us later, it is very difficult to teach. Look, you sit, you will listen to this, you won't listen to this. I can assure you, Whatever you tell a child not to do, the child will do that. That's for sure. So you have to set an example. You have to set an example. I listen to Amitabh Bachchan. I will listen to 60s, 70s retro music. I will listen to Kishore Kumar. And you won't believe it. When my two daughters were, less than 10 years old or were in their teens, they started listening to the same thing as I did or my wife did. I'm just sharing it with you. And there is another shocking thing that I want to share with you, all parents. This is the roundup, takeaway thought process that has happened with me. I have two daughters. They're grown up now. But when they were very small, I happened to travel till March, till first week of March 2020. I have been traveling 20 days a month. And after that, my coat, even today I'm not wearing it. My coat and ties are all hanging, looking at me, please wear me. I haven't had the opportunity. It's a different world. But anyway, I'm sure we'll come out of it. Now, what I have to tell you is that even the fact that I have been home for only 10 days a month, when my kids have been growing up, my elder daughter's mark sheet in 10th and 12th is exactly the same as my mark sheet.
Okay.
My elder daughter went to the same college that I went to in Delhi University and sat in the same class. And today, her profession is very, very similar to mine. Right. So what do you have to say? You probably have to say that these are indirect influences. I mean, when you are around, you leave behind an impact on the children. So parents and elder siblings have a role to play. If they take soft skills seriously, they develop the art of career development very seriously, and the art of listening and the art of talking, where everybody has a voice. I'm sure the family will be a very, very progressive family.
Perfect. So I think so. But at the end of this, I hope we have answered all and everyone's questions. And this was an amazingly interactive session. So I honestly had at least 4 more questions lined up, but we are a little in the timeline. And thank you everyone for joining, and thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this. It was a wonderful session. We hope to stay in touch with you and have you on other such platforms in the future.
Thank you so much. And my parting remarks to you. Thank you very much. You're doing a fantastic job on Kids OK. There is no doubt about that. And to all parents who have kids at the moment, definitely they are younger to me by age. I have that privilege of being senior to them by age. More experience as a parent. I would like to definitely share the fact that let the teachers in school be very careful about the teachers. I think the school teachers and experts and mentors, platforms like Kids OK and other platforms are very useful platforms. Be very careful. And the only thing you can do as parents, yes, you love them. Do not, expect your dreams to come true through them, and let them live their world. But one thing for sure, that if there is anything that you believe in very firmly as a parent, do it in front of them. Don't tell them to do it. Right. And talking is one of them. And I can guarantee you, directly or indirectly, every child will see and learn and adapt it and become better citizens. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
So
and enjoy the evening. And let's move towards a more, wonderful dream country like ours, where every child, every one of us, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, and especially gender. I don't want to get into the male, female, or the third gender issue, but each one of us have our voices and are able to express our, heart and mind out to people. And no doubt about the fact, develop the skill of convincing people to take decision making, which is going to be the key skill in the 21st century, post-COVID.